What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I'm going to be bringing you a dedicated combo video for Crystrons. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be following up from the profile video and I'm going to show you the one card Smiger combo utilized to be able to play through Nibiru as I showed you previously and what it gets you with the Quandrax. I'll then show you the exact same combo and how you set it up with the trap card, and on top of that I'll then show you the Terrortop combo of how you can start benching yourself through different ways to get you into the Smiger play that you need. So, with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. So we're going to start off with the Crystron Smiger. You're going to normal summon this card, you're going to link this off and get you into the Clockwork Knight. You then be able to banish the Smiger to grab you your Inclusion. Pretty straightforward and simple so far. Inclusion will then be activated to grab you the Sulfador. Then use Sulfador's effect, targeting the Inclusion, destroying this and summon itself down, using the effect to send 2 from deck to grave. Now obviously in this version I'm going to be showing you the Sulfenir and the first 5 of them being sent. In the other combo I'll show you what happens when you send the trap card, and then basically what you're doing is you're adding a little bit of a difference to your end board with having a bit of a back row interaction rather than all front row. So by sending these two, you'll then be able to use the first Vyvern's effect to banish it from the graveyard to grab you one from deck, and I'm going to grab the Tortoise. You're then going to be able to use the Sulfenir's effect to discard the Tortoise, summoning itself back, and then use its effect or resolve its effect to destroy itself, and then summon a Crystron from the deck, being your Tristados. You're then going to synchro your Tristanos and the Sulfenir. Now in the previous video I showed you what happens if you get nibbed at this particular point. You still end on an infinity, but this one we're going to be playing through it as if they don't have Nibiru. So you're going to synchro those two together, you're going to go into your Skeletos. Skeletos is all monsters your opponent controls lose 5 on attack and defense, but if it is synchro summoned you get to add a Crystron card from your graveyard or banishment to the hand. Now obviously you can add either of these two back if you want to. I prefer to go and add back one of the 5s as this is going to be helpful to give you your infinity later on in the play. Then what you do is you're going to use the Tristanos' graveyard effect. You get to banish it and then destroy a synchro monster that you control. And if you do, you special on 2 Crystrons from your deck. You can't special on from the edge of the deck except machines, which is absolutely fine. So we're going to be able to banish this. We're going to destroy the Skeletos, and this is going to allow us to summon 2 from the deck. So you're going to want to summon the Sulfenir, or any level 5, and then you're going to want to summon out the Tristados. Then be able to trigger off the Skeletos' effect. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to special on one of your Crystron monsters that is in the grave or banished. So the one you're going to want to bring back will be your Tristanos again. Now keep in mind you still have so much more to play with, it's absolutely insane. So you're then going to be able to banish the Tortoise. This will then allow you to summon down the Sulfador. You can then overlay the Sulfador and the Sulfenir, which will then get you into Nova and Infinity. Use Infinity's effect to absorb the Clockwork Knight, just to make sure you don't have a 5 attack monster just left there for your opponent to crash over. And then of course you've got the ability to use the Incursion to bring out your Sulfenir. Now you don't have to do that, you can actually leave the Inclusion in the graveyard so that you do have a crackback and a follow-up during your opponent's turn, which is really important. And the reason that you would do that is that during your opponent's turn, let's say that this stays in the graveyard, when your opponent activates an effect, you'll be able to use the quick effect of the Tristanos. So when your opponent activates a card or effect, you get a quick effect, you can special summon a Crystron from your deck, except itself, and then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon a machine synchro using monsters you control, including that monster. You can banish this card in your graveyard to destroy a synchro. So the idea is that during your opponent's turn, when they activate a card or effect, you can activate the Tristanos. This will then allow you to summon 1 from the deck. Now, when you're trying to work your way into the Quandrax, Quandrax is actually a level 9 and it requires 2 or more tuners. So you've already got the 2 tuners on the board set up ready to go. So all you need to do is get a level 5 from the deck, which is absolutely fine because you can go for the Sulfador. Or of course, you could go for the Sulfenir from the deck, depending on which ones you want to be burning through. If you don't have a second Tristanos because you decide to bring back one of these instead, like a Smiger ready for the next turn, then of course the other tuner you can go for is the Citri, but then that means you need to have one of the level 5s in rotation. So keep in mind you've got loads of ways to adapt this. The idea is as long as you get a level 5 to the board, you then synchro all of these, and this then allows you to get into your Quandrax. So when it is synchro summoned, or technically if, you get to target monsters your opponent controls and or in their graveyard up to the number of synchro materials used for this synchro summon, which will be free, and then you get to banish them. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you get to target one of your banished monsters, accept itself, and special summon it. So at this exact moment in time, you've banished 3 of your opponent's monsters, or 3 of their 3 of your opponent's monsters, and you still got the infinity to negate as well. And then when you're coming back, you've got a 3k there, and then your infinity is going to be up with 4 materials to be a 2900. So that still means you've got 4 more cards in your hand, and you still leave the Inclusion in the graveyard that can be banished to bring back one of your Crystron monsters. So that can allow you to go back into the Skeletos if you need to, or of course you can go into the Tristanos, your Sulfador. Really is up to you on what you need to, what you want to bring back and what you want to change. So that's the Quandrax play. That's where it's a little bit more aggressive and it relies on your opponent a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when you use that exact same 1-card combo, but instead of going for a Quandrax, you actually want to go for the trap card instead. So we'll reset and be back in a second. So the exact same combo is now going to set you up with the ability of either getting into the Amatrix or a Dawn Dragster alongside Cyber Dragon Infinity, and you'll have the cluster in rotation as well to give you a little bit more aggression. So you're going to start off by normal summoning down the Smiger. You're going to link this off, go into Clockwork Knight, pretty standard. Banish the Smiger, grab the Inclusion, activate Inclusion, Salvador's effect, target the Inclusion, destroy it, summon, send 2. Now this is where it changes. So the 2 you're going to want to send will be your Tristanos and the cluster. Of course, if you hard open up your cluster, you can do it a little bit of a different way. But the idea is we're just going to do it as if it's a baseline 1-card combo, you're top decking or anything else like that. So you're going to send both of these to the graveyard. And then what you're going to want to be able to do here is you're going to need to use your Inclusion a little bit earlier than the first combo. By banishing this, you're going to bring back your Tristanos. You're then going to be able to synchro these two into a level 7, being your Iskeletos. And then, of course, you're going to be able to use this effect that you're allowed to add a Crystron card from the grave or banishment to the hand. So you're going to want to add back the cluster, which is really important because this is going to go, cool, and add that back. You can then set that, hold it into your hand, whatever you want to do. Then you'll use the graveyard effect of the Tristanos, which will allow it to banish itself to destroy the Iskeletos. And this will allow it to summon 2 from the deck. So you're going to want to go for your second Tristanos, and you go for your Sulfurneer or any level 5. The idea is that you're trying to work your way into a level 5 or like the Synchro 7 should you need to, but also work your way into a Cyber Dragon Nova and Infinity and trying to leave the Tristanos on the board so you can catch your opponent off with the quick effect during their turn. You'll then be able to resolve the Iskeletos effect as well. They allows you to special summon a Crystron monster from the graveyard, so that's going to bring back your Sulfador. You then overlay both of these, go into Nova, into Infinity, effect of Infinity to absorb the Clockwork Knight, so you're not leaving that on the board, ready to get slapped by your opponent. So now what you've done here is you basically ended your turn with an Omni Negate here, and you've got your cluster. So Crystron cards you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You get to target a face-up card on the field, or if you control, or you can target 2 if you can control a Crystron Synchro monster. So it's up to you whether you want to be working your way into a Crystron Synchro monster to target 2, or if you'd rather just go for any Synchro Machine monster in order to get yourself into something like a Dawn Dragster. So during your opponent's turn, when they activate a card or effect, you're going to use your Tristanos' effect. So when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, special summon a Crystron monster from the deck, except itself, immediately after the effect resolves, synchro summon a machine synchro. So it doesn't lock you into Crystrons, which is really, really helpful. So what does that mean? Well, it gives you the ability to go for a synchro level 5, so a free, either of the frees plus your 2, which will get you into the Antrix, which gives you that Crystron monster on the board so that you can bounce back 2, destroy 2. Or if you want to go for a 7 to get you that spell or trap negate for something like a Dawn Dragster, rather than going for the freeze, you'd go for another 5, and then of course you'd get yourself into a Dawn Dragster. The only issue is this will only allow you to target 1 face-up card in the field rather than 2, and then it'll let you shuffle back a Crystron from your grave or banishment and then destroy that 1 targeted card or cards. So it's up to you whether you want to be popping 2 and shifting everything to defense, or if you want to be popping only 1. So up to you on how you'd want to do that one. It kind of gives you a bit of a different option depending on the outcome you're looking for. So that's it for that basic 1-card combo. Of course, this combo can adapt in loads of different ways as well, but what I want to show you is what else you can do if you do start involving the Terrortop engine and Cherubini to basically give you a little bit more back. So I'm going to reset the board state and I'm going to show you that card combo very shortly. So the final combo I'm going to show you is what happens if you open up Terrortop. How does it lead you into the Crystron combo? So you start off by special summoning down Terrortop, use the effect to grab yourself the Tuckentoll Borg and then special summon this down. Now obviously, if you've already opened up a way to get into your Smiger as your normal summon, then you can very easily and safely overlay both of these into Bamboos and Gossip Shadow, and that will give you a very early protection. Let's say that we don't need to do that, or we haven't opened up anything else and this is just a 1-card top deck. You're going to be able to link these two together and get yourself into a Cherubini. Use Cherubini's effect to send us Cost the Smiger, which now sets you in play for all of your Crystron combos. So you're now going to banish the Smiger, you're going to grab the Inclusion, activate the Inclusion, grab you the Salvador, destroy the Inclusion, send 2 from deck to grave. You're going to want to send the Cluster and the first Vyvern. Of course, you can do it a little bit differently because you haven't used your normal summon if you want to, but we're just going to show you the baseline of being able to set up a trap card, the ability to get into Quandrax and the Omni Negate in Infinity, while also leaving Cherubini there, ready for some more link plays during your next turn. So by sending these two to the graveyard, you get to use the first Vyvern's effect to banish it, to then special summon the Tristanos from the deck. Synchro these two together into a Synchro level 7 of the Iskeletos. The Iskeletos effect will then allow you to add back the cluster from the grave to the hand, so you've got that set ready to go. And then you're going to be able to use the graveyard effect of the Tristanos to destroy the Iskeletos, to summon 2 from the deck. So you go for your 2 level 5s in the form of the Sulfurneer and of course the Sulfurneer. You then get to use the destruction effect of the Iskeletos, which will allow you to bring back your Tristanos, which is very important. And then you get to overlay both of these to go into a Nova and then into an Infinity. Now at this point here, if you want to end your turn, your Crystron can again set you up with a Dawn Dragstar, or it can set you up into the Amtrix. But because you want to go into the Quandrax, you're going to banish the Inclusion and you're going to bring back the Sulfador. You'll then set the trap card. You'll still have 4 more cards in your hand. Let's say that they are hand traps, entirely up to you, or back row, or extensions, you name it, you've got those options. And then during your opponent's turn, what's going to happen is when they activate an effect, you can use the effect of the Tristanos, and what you need to do is get another tuner to the board, so it can either be another copy of the Tristanos, or of course you'll just go for the Citri. So you've got the options that you need to if you want to. The Citri will also give you that quick effect, should they interact with you in a different way. But the idea is you just need to get another tuner to the board. So I think I've actually got the Citri in my opening hand, which will be about right. Yeah, there you go. So there's your Citri. You'd get that to the board. You then Synchro, so 2 tuners plus a 5, 4 plus 5 equals 9, which equals a Quandrax. Obviously, Quandrax was made with 3 materials, so it gets to banish 3 of your opponent's monsters. And then, of course, with Cluster now, because you control a Crystron Synchro, you can actually target 2 cards and destroy them. So you can destroy, banish 3, destroy 2, negate 1. And if you don't want to leave the Cherubini on the board, of course, you can just use Infinity to absorb it. So it really is up to you on how you'd want to do it. It'd be the exact same thing as if you had Clockwork Knight. You still got the 4 more cards in the hand. There you go, 4 more cards in the hand, plus whatever else you might have floating around in the graveyard for recursion should you need it. But the idea is that this should pretty much allow you to push through for gain the next turn as well, especially when you're clearing off so much of your opponent's materials and so much of their resources. And if they foolishly leave a monster in attack mode, you just go, cool, Infinity, absorb it, and then Infinity is just going to get stronger and maintain that negate as well. So that's it for the dedicated combo video. There are obviously more combos out there, depending on the version that you are playing. If you want to be playing the Azamina version, if you want to be playing the Adventure version. What I like about the Adventure version, like I said, is this particular combo involving Cherubini gives you that option to go, right, I want the Omni Negate because I've already opened up the Smyger, or I haven't opened up the Smyger, but I've already opened up the Omni Negate, I'll go down the Smyger route. So it gives you loads to play around with, which is what I really like about Crystrons and what they could possibly be doing going forward. I think it's definitely one of the decks to be watching out for at YCS, as I feel this will probably get featured on stream, or I'd like to think it can get featured on stream, and then you'll also see what the deck can do in a bit more detail and in actually the competitive scene as well. Anyway, if you do have any questions at all, by all means, please put in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.